Spotlight kar dena yaad se. Thank you. All right, so let us first do the prayer and then we bhajan. Shri chakra wasini Devi Namaste. Shivakama Sundari Devi Namaste. Shri Krishna Sodari Devi Namaste. Rajrajeshwari Devi Namaste. Rajrajeshwari Devi Namaste. Padmadala Lochani Devi Namaste. Bhakta Paripalini Devi Namaste. Parvat Vartini Devi Namaste. Rajrajeshwari Devi Namaste. Rajrajeshwari Devi Namaste. Karuna Vilasini Devi Namaste. Katyayani Gauri Devi Namaste. Kadamba Vanvasini Devi Namaste. Rajrajeshwari Devi Namaste. Rajrajeshwari Devi Namaste. Shakti Parameshwari Devi Namaste. Shambhumana Mohini Devi Namaste. Shankari Kripakari Devi Namaste. Rajrajeshwari Devi Namaste. Rajrajeshwari Devi Namaste. Annapurneshwari Devi Namaste. Akhilandeshwari Devi Namaste. Abhaya Pradayini Devi Namaste. Rajrajeshwari Devi Namaste. Rajrajeshwari Devi Namaste. Satya Swarupini Devi Namaste. Sadguru Rupini Devi Namaste. Dharma Swarupini Devi Namaste. Rajrajeshwari Devi Namaste. Rajrajeshwari Devi Namaste. Akhanda Paripurani Devi Namaste. Adi Parashakti Devi Namaste. Akhila Paripalini Devi Namaste. Rajrajeshwari Devi Namaste. Rajrajeshwari Devi Namaste. Anatha Rakshaki Devi Namaste. Saubhagyadayini Devi Namaste. Santan Balprade Devi Namaste. Rajrajeshwari Devi Namaste. Rajrajeshwari Devi Namaste. Pahi Bhuvaneshwari Devi Namaste. Shri Vidya Rupini Devi Namaste. Shakti Swarupini Devi Namaste. Rajrajeshwari Devi Namaste. Rajrajeshwari Devi Namaste. We are learning about our Gurudev, Bhagwan Dattatrey, who has given Tripura Rahasya to his disciple Parshuram. And we are reading from, right now we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam because we have to understand his glories and his teachings. With that teachings, we will understand Tripura Rahasya much more better. Tripura Rahasya means glories of Ma Tripura Sundari, Ma Tripura. Ma Tripura is the original primordial goddess. So we have to know about, and she is Shakti. She is the female energy. So we worship her and we are trying to understand about her through our Gurudev, Bhagwan Dattatrey, then Parshuram, and then others. Okay. But right now we are understanding about the 24 Gurus of Bhagwan Dattatrey. We are doing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 7, Chapter 8, Chapter 9. These are the only 3 chapters we are reading. Today we are on Chapter 9, almost coming to the end. And hopefully tomorrow we will start with the original content, that is the Tripura Rahasya book. Okay. Last time, Bhagwan Dattatrey, even though I have always explained in our books, when you read the scriptures, certain things will always be there. So most of the stories will explain both the part, the formless and the form. In English, it is said formless. But actually, in Hindi, the word is different. It means nirguna nirakar. It has a different meaning. Nirakar means something which cannot be described with just one form. English gives the name formless. But no, it's not like that. Bhagwan cannot be defined in one form. That is what is called as Nirakar. The right word, I think, could be omniscient, omnipresent, who is in every form. So how is he formless? He cannot be defined with one form. So he's not formless. He has many forms. So there is no English word for that many forms. How do you say that? That is why, English translation, let's say, oh, Bhagwan is formless, Nirakar, Nirgun. Nirgun means what? He has so many qualities. Asankha Gunagana Nilai. So many qualities, millions and millions. Like every Bhagwan's different forms have like 1,000 names. Like say if you take Bhagwan Krishna, he has 1,000 names. Gopal Sastranam. Then you go to Narasimha, he will have 1,000 names. Then you go to Vara, he will have 1,000 names. Bhagwan has like so many qualities. It is impossible to describe him in one quality. That is why they say, okay, Nirguna. Nirguna means beyond gunas. So gunas has two meaning. Qualities, one is qualities. Guna. Sadguna, Durguna means good qualities, bad qualities. Bhagwan has infinite qualities. So you cannot put him in one quality. So you say, oh, he's Nirguna. He's beyond all these qualities that you described. He has a lot of qualities, but he's beyond. Words cannot describe him. That is called Nirguna. So one meaning is that. Another meaning, he's beyond the three modes of material nature. Mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. So this is another meaning. So Nirguna means he's beyond all these things. It doesn't mean he's some bland energy. No, he's some static energy, some dynamic energy. Because your understanding is only going till there, only energy. And you are making a literal translation of those words in English. And English is a very restrictive language. That's what I feel sometimes. Because Sanskrit, original language, gives a different meaning to the same thing. How thousands of meanings can come. This we say, these words are like cows. You milk them. So many meanings will come. Like for example, Bhagwan Krishna is described with two names. Atma Ram and Radharaman. When you say Atma Ram, Atma means the soul. Bhagwan is always in his soul. If I have to translate it in English. Bhagwan is always happy within himself. But Atma means soul. So Bhagwan is always happy within himself. And that self is his soul. So Bhagwan is always happy in his soul. Now who is this Atma? Who is Bhagwan's Atma? Bhagwan's Atma. Atma tu tasya Radhika. His Atma is Radhika. So Bhagwan's another name is Radharaman. Because he is always meditating on his soul, and his soul is nothing but Srimati Radharani's energy. Srimati Radharani. She is the Ladini Shakti, the joy of the soul. We all meditate, right? When we say joy, soul means joy. You've gotten into soul consciousness, means you're always in joy. That Ladini Shakti is Radharani. She's in everybody. She is the one who's giving the joy. So Bhagwan Shri Krishna is always meditating on that. So we started with Atma Ram. Atma Ram, when we say, oh, we will say, oh, he's a formless one. But another name is no, he's worshipping on a form. Radha Raman. Radha is the form that he's worshipping or that he's meditating upon. So in our scriptures, as I mentioned, I started with that and started giving you examples. In our scriptures, both these aspects are covered. Meditating on the self the soul, and also meditating on the form. Like when you meditated on the soul, you were in a happy state. You were in a blissful state. You went to the state of nirvana. What is that blissful state? Who gave it? The next question should be, who gave me that blissful state? From where has that, who is the source of that blissfulness? I enjoy that state. Who is the source? From where did it come? Then you will refer the scriptures, or the Guru will say, oh, that is Ladini Shakti. Got it. It is a Shakti, it is energy. But who has that Shakti to give that Shakti, to give that energy? Somebody is having the energy, right? To give that energy. Who is it? Radha Krishna. Radha. That's how then we go to that form. Okay, so there is something called Radha. Where is that Radha? Then you will again go to the scriptures or to the Guru. Guru will say, go to the scriptures, you'll see. Okay, so this Radha came 5,000 years ago, but this happiness is always there. So this Radha was existing before that? Yes, she was. Go to Devi Bhagavad. Okay, got it. So when you start analytically reading Devi Bhagavad, you'll understand. So in our scriptures, both the things are mentioned. The form. I should not say the formless. The formless doesn't give me the happiness. The Brahma form. Pure consciousness. God as pure consciousness and God as a form. Both the things are mentioned. What is this pure consciousness energy? What is this Brahma energy? This is the light that is emanating from his planet. That's all. How is a planet illuminated? From his presence. So that means the spiritual planets exist? Yes, they exist. Where is it mentioned? Go to our scriptures, it is mentioned. Oh, but we don't have the English translation. No worries, find out a Guru. Oh, we don't have a Guru. That's why I'm trying hard to explain you in English. Listen to these lectures. I'll give you everything, whatever is there. I'm trying to give it in a very simple manner. Dattatreya Bhagwan, last time what we studied is in text 16. He said, after giving all he gave so many gurus, and he said, from all these gurus, I learned how to meditate on the soul. How to understand that spirit soul, because of which this body is running. I understood this. And then he goes on saying one more thing in text 16. Very important thing. Remember this. Eko Narayano Devaha Purva Shishtam Swamayaya. Now this line you must, if somebody is reading the book, you must mark this line. Highlight it. Two words are very significant. Narayan. Eko Narayano Devaha. There is one God. He is called Narayan. Purvashishtam Swamayaya. The word is Swamayaya. He created this world, Swamayaya, with his Maya energy. With his Maya, that Maya has different names. People get confused with Yoga Maya, Mahamaya, Maya. Here it is only one word, Maya. And that word is used many times in our books. English translations have confused people more. Yoga Maya, 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 blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, no, there's only one word, Maya. And wherever Bhagwan is there, this Maya is always there. They are together. Always. You cannot separate one or the other. Yesterday, I gave an example to somebody from Devi Bhagavad. Devi says, I am Brahma. I am Vishnu. I am Narayan. So she goes on saying, in Brahma state, in Brahma, in that original form, there is no distinction. And then in the next line she says, but there is a sukshma. Sukshma means slight distinction between my other forms and me. That person who understands, and this is written there, that person who understands this slight distinction is a liberated soul. So she starts from Brahma saying everybody's together, all of us are there. And then she says there's a slight distinction. What is that distinction? Then I went to the Krishna avatar in Devi Bhagavad itself. And very clearly it is written over there, as he has explained. Krishna is the original being. It is written, okay? I'm not my made up thing. Krishna is the original being, and then he decided to create this. Let me see if I have it. Then he decided to create this world, and with his Maya, Trigunatmika Maya, he created this world. And that Trigunatmika Maya is Vindhyavasini, Vindhyachal Nivasini, Yoga Maya, who came as his sister. Okay, when we say Krishna Sodari, Namaste. Let me see if I have the slokas. I will give you the slokas. Okay. So this shloka which I'm going to read is from Devi Bhagavad Navam Skand, Adhyay 2, Shloka 26. Here he says, Sa Krishnaha sarvasta shashtadau sisri chaneka evacha shishti unmukhastaddanchena kalena preritah prabhu. And he says, I'll read it the Hindi one and then I'll translate English. Shri Krishna, he says, जो भक्ति और दास से प्रदान करते हैं उन्हें कृष्ण कहा गया है. कृष सर्वार्थ का तथा न नकार का बीज है. श्री कृष्ण ही, दिस आई एम रीडिंग द गीता प्रेजेंटेशन, ओके. श्री कृष्ण ही आदि में सर्व प्रपंच के सृष्टा तथा सृष्टि के एकमात्र बीज रूप हैं. भगवान श्री कृष्ण says that in Gita also, I am the seed giving father of this creation. Same thing is validated in Devi Bhagavad Mahapuran. I told you, when we read our scriptures, there is no bhedbhav, there is no confusion of thoughts. In fact, what Bhagwan has said in Bhagavad Gita, you will get endorsement if you read it scrutinizingly. You should not miss one thing. I read it like that. I don't miss. I try to as much as possible. So that's why I'm bringing it here. Because what Bhagwan said in Gita, I am the seed-giving father. Devi Bhagavad Mahapuran, this is Devi's Puran. Devi Bhagavad Mahapuran, also the same thing Vyasji is saying, and the same thing in Srimad Bhagavatam, which is related to Krishna, Dattatreya Bhagwan is saying. Same thing, this Eko Narayano Devaha Purva Shrishtam Mayaya. Krishna says, I am the seed-giving father in Gita 5,000 years ago. And before that in Devi Bhagavad, many thousands of years ago. You can't even trace. Before even Krishna's birth. Here he's saying, he is the seed, he is the original seed. Shri Krishna is the original seed, and in Hindi he writes, उनमें जब सृष्टि की इच्छा उत्पन्न हुई, तब उनके अंशभूत, शब्द है अंशभूत, तब उनके अंशभूत काल के द्वारा प्रेरित होकर स्वेच्छा में वे प्रभु अपनी इच्छा से दो रूपों में विभक्त हो गए. उनका वाम भागांश स्त्री रूप तथा दक्षिणांश पुरुष रूप कहा गया. समझ में आई बात? So what is written there in Gita 5,000 years ago? I tell you to read Gita because it is easy to understand. It is unbiased. It has no names. It has no Devi Devata and all those big names and no confusion, no definition, nothing. Straight to the point, logic, answer, clear, cut. But then you again have questions. How to prove this wrong? Or how to prove something else? Then you go. Then I'll tell, read the Puranas, because I learned this from my Guru. The Puranas have all the answers. You have to read it properly. And same thing in Srimad Bhagavatam. None of the three things are saying different things. Same thing they're establishing. Now, Pratik Azad Ma, same things are said for Devi and Shiva also. What does that mean? It is written in the same chapter, the Pratik. उन वाम भागोत्पन्न काम के आधार स्वरूपा को उन सनातन महाकामेश्वर ने देखा. This महाकामेश्वर is Sri Shiv ji. उनका रूप अति मनोहर था. And then it goes on. Okay. So this Devi, and before that, this Devi has divided herself into Parvati. This Devi has divided herself into Radha, Lakshmi, Saraswati. This also is mentioned in Devi Bhagavad Puran. So original there is, so here they started with Krishna is the original Bij. He divided himself into two. The Vambhag is Shakti. That Shakti is Yogamaya. Yogamaya is the original name. Parashakti is the original name. Parashakti, Paramba, Jagat Janni is one name. One female primordial energy. That energy, that female, in different era, at different times, to do different roles, she further divides herself. It is written in Devi Bhagavad. She further divides herself into Lakshmi, into Saraswati, into Radha. She comes as Radha. This is written in Devi Bhagavad. And that Parashakti becomes a consort of Mahadev. It is also written. And Tripura Rahasya, when you are going to read this, what I said, same thing will be repeated in Tripura Rahasya. She herself divides into these three, and then she plays this role with Krishna, she plays this role with Kameshwar. Kameshwar's role, Shiva's role is different role basically. Again, so this is one. Second comes the confusion. At different kalpas, all of this, Bhagwan has multiplied himself into Shiva. Bhagwan has multiplied that one original energy, okay? Has multiple, one original person, supreme personality of Godhead. That is the right word, I guess now. He's called Bhagwan. He himself multiplies as Shiva. He himself multiplies as Durga. Janani. Jagat Janani. When we read our Puranas at different kalpas, all these different people also create their own Brahmans. If a Krishna can create his own, then Devi also creates her own. Shiva also creates her own. So many of the stories you will see, the creation is similar. Creation is similar. So in those stories, like you read Brahmana Purana, so Devi comes and then she becomes consort of Shiva. That was done in that kalpa at that time. That Bhandasur Vadh happened. So people always say, oh, Vishnuji came from that people think because Lalita Sahasranam, Brahmana Purana they have read, or not read, just Lalita Sahasranam they have read. They'll say Bhagwan is coming from the 10 fingers of Lalita. Yes, it is mentioned, right? It is mentioned. I agree with you. That part is correct. But Bhagwan is not just the 10 avatars. You read Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran. And when did that story happen? During Bhandasur Vadh, if the 10 avatars came, then when did Varaha avatar happen? Then when did they happen at that time? No. When you read the Puranas, Varaha avatar, Matsya avatar, Kurma avatar, everything has happened at different kalpas, different time. Narsingh avatar has happened at different time. Not at that moment. When Mahamaya, when Tripura Sundari was fighting with Bhandasura. No. When she was fighting with Bhandasura, all these 10 forms appeared to help her fight against Bhandasura's army. Not only her, Ganeshji appeared. So these are stories at different time that happened, different places, all these gods and forms are appearing. But those original, when everything goes in Vilay and then everything happens, this is how it has happened, how I explained to you today. Because this conclusion, what I'm giving, now I have taken 4 references for you. Tripura Rahasya, Gita, Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran, Devi Bhagavad. And not my sentences. I have read you the Sanskrit, I have read you the Hindi translation so that you don't get confused. You can refer to those books and read it. And I've told you the chapter numbers also. Got it? Understand it scrutinizingly. Don't miss a single word when you're reading it. When you read unbiased, I have read very unbiased. I have read it from the critical angle. That is why that unbiased. And then I read it from critical angle, but there is always a chance when you're a critic, you will lose the essence. Thanks to my gurus. I consulted them and then they opened up everything. and I didn't lose the essence. Okay, so I'm trying to give you the essence in that manner. Correct? Because here when Dattatreya Bhagwan says, Eko Narayano Devaha Purvashrishtam Swamayaya, Swamayaya. That Swamayaya, that Swamaya is that Trigunatmika Maya, or Yoga Maya, or Lalita Mahatripur Sundari, or Paramba, or Jagat Janni, or Vindhyachal Vasini. You can call her many names, as in given in Devi Bhagavad. Right? Sahrita Kala Kalya Kalpanta Idam Ishvaraha Eka Eva Ditiyo Bhud Atma Dharo Khilashrayaha. She is the one. They are always there together to create this world. They are always there together when the annihilation of the world happens. They are always there together when the world is going on. They're always there together when everything is annihilated and there is a stillness. Everything is just still. Nothing is happening. They are there. And when everything comes again, everything is there. They are there together always. So these two energies are always going to be there. When we read our scriptures, notice those words, Swama Mayaya, Mayaya. Bhagavan will always say, I never exist alone. I am there. And this world is created. I am the beach giving. It's like the father and the mother. Father only gives the seed. The mother gives the children. And the mother takes care of it. Father takes care in a different way. Same way. For this universe, Bhagavan says, I am the seed giving father. But who is the mother? That mother is, Bhagavan says, Swamayaya, my Maya, my Yoga Maya, my Trigunatmika Maya is the mother. Got it? So this is how we understand the scriptures. All right. Then we go, when the Supreme Personality of Godhead displays his own potency in the form of time and guides his material potencies, such as the mode of goodness, into a neutral condition of equilibrium, he remains as the supreme controller of that neutral state. He remains, and that neutral state is called Pradhana. Pradhan is Pratham Tattva, or the Tattvas. Okay, Tattvas, Mahat Tattva, etc. As well as the living entities. He is also the supreme worshipable object for all beings, included liberated souls, devatas, and ordinary conditioned souls. The Lord is eternally free from any material designation, and he constitutes the totality of spiritual bliss, which one experiences by seeing the Lord's spiritual form. The Lord thus exhibits the fullest meaning of the word liberation. O subduer of the enemies, at the time of creation, the personality of Godhead expands his own transcendental potency in the form of time and agitating his material energy, Maya, composed of the three modes of material nature, he creates the Mahat Tattva. This is how the whole universe is created. First comes Mahat Tattva, then comes Ahankar, then this is divided into three gunas, and from the three gunas will come the five tanmatras. And then from the tanmatras means sound, touch, smell, taste, all these are the tanmatras. From there develops the organs. From the organs develops the human or any other living entities. So this is explained as how the creation happens. So this is a standard process. If somebody has to know how the creation has happened, you have to just memorize this. Okay. This is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, in every book. We'll read in Tripura Rahasya also, it will come. All right. According to the great sages, that which is the basis of the three modes of material nature and which manifests the variegated universe is called the Sutra or the Mahatattva. Indeed, this universe is resting within that Mahatattva, and due to its potency, the living entity undergoes material existence. Just as from within himself, now he gives example of the spider. Yathor nana bhirhridyat urnam santyatya vakratah taya vritya bhuyastam krasati evam maheshwaraha. Just as from within himself, the spider expands, thread through his mouth, He's giving the example of spider. Spider, you see the spider? Thread comes from his mouth. He makes a whole net. And then when he wants to dissolve the net, he takes it all. So this world wide web, which Bhagwan created, he creates. At the time of dissolution, he takes. So this world is like that web created by the spider. And the Spider-Man is Bhagwan. So why get caught into this? The Lord displays his network of cosmic manifestations, utilizes it according to his purpose, and eventually withdraws it completely within himself. Now he goes on to, so the spider is one guru that he learned from spider. Everything will come, everything will go. Similarly, this world, this whole drama, this whatever we are going through, Bhagwan has created it. For some time it will be there, then it will go. We are also having that creation. Because we belong to the creator, we are also our creators. We also create our own web of thoughts, web of action, web of people, web of situations. We get caught into it. So one must understand everything is temporary. Don't get caught into anything. You are not this. Okay. Next one. Yatra yatra mano dehi dharayet sakalam dhiya snehad veshad bhayad vapi yati tat swarupatam kita peshaskritam dhyayan kudyam tena pravashitaha yati tat satmatam rajan purvarupam asantyajan. Here, now is he taking the example of a wasp, a beetle. So this kind of beetle, it's known as Bhringi, and it has a quality. Now here is that by his sound, he can, so this Bhringi, this beetle has this quality, okay, it doesn't give its own eggs. It will get the eggs of other insects and it will keep it in that place, one place hidden. And every time he comes and he'll just make a sound like that. So the insects inside, they are going to hatch. Some of them like this sound and some of them are scared. But whether they like or whether they are scared, just by thinking of this beetle, Bhringi, when these eggs, they hatch, all the insects that come out, they get the color of that beetle who was doing the sound. So here he says, if out of love, hate, or fear, an embodied soul fixes his mind with intelligence and complete concentration upon a particular bodily form, he will certainly attain that form that he's meditating upon. It applies to worldly people first. If you hate somebody, your life is only going in hate, closing your eyes, hating that person, cursing that person, hating that person, cursing that person. You're constantly meditating upon that enemy of yours. At the end of life, what is going to happen? That is why we have to understand Gita. Very important. The person whom you hated throughout your life, whether he is alive or not, because your consciousness, you only developed hate. When you're dying, that hatred will overcome you. At the time of death, you are helpless. And because of that hatred, the next body, whatever you take, that hatred will continue. And whenever that soul comes with the next body, you are going to fight with that soul. That is why in some families, you'll see, the son and the mother are fighting, daughter and the parents are fighting. Even though you're your own born, they should be loving you, right? But no, you're fighting. You're most closest, you're fighting all the time. Because in your past lives, both of you had harbored that hatred towards each other, that in this life you are the closest husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend, closest, cheat each other, grab others' wealth, all this happens all around you. You have done it somewhere. In this life, you have a chance. Forgive everybody and not get into this mess. Or keep the hatred or the fear, whatever you want to do. But whatever you're developing yourself, the next body, you're going to get that. This is what he's trying to say. So it's best. What you should do, change your consciousness into a loving consciousness. You cannot love humans. Humans, there is bound to be, truly, there is bound to be some selfishness, some expectation. It's very difficult to love human to that level, human relations. But with God, you can have that loving relationship. With devotees, with saints, with gurus, you can have that loving relationship where there is no exchange of any selfishness. If you love God, if you love Krishna like this, or Devi like this, if you love Devi's devotees like this, you love Ramakrishna Paramahansa, you love Yogananda, you love Adi Guru Shankaracharya, or any saint whom you like. If your life goes on loving that saint or Bhagwan's form, when you, at the end of your life, when you're going to die with all the dramas that happened in your life, it happened. The dramas are about to end now, because now you're lying on the deathbed and thinking about Krishna. When you leave the body, where do you think you will go? Krishna's lok. You're thinking of Maa Tripura Sundari. Where will you go? Devi's lok. You're thinking of Lord Shiva. Where will you go? Shiva's lok. And at the time of death, if you're thinking of your enemy, you're not thinking, but let me tell you, throughout the life, what you have thought is going to come. So you died in hatred, in anger. What is going to happen to you? In India, we say the snake and the mongoose keep fighting with each other. You will become one of them. So think, this especially this sloka, Dattatreya Bhagwan is mentioning about consciousness. Change your consciousness. Become God conscious. Become God conscious in love, not in fear, not in hatred, in love. So saints, that beetle, who comes and does the sound, that saint is like that beetle. He does not have, he may or may not have children of his own. He may be a grihastha or he may be a renunciant. But when you sit with a saint, he has children of other people around him. Is it not? And you are listening to the lecture. The saint is only talking Ram, 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 Krishna, 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 Devi, 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 Ma, 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 Ma. The sound gang, 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 gang is only Ma, 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 Ma. The saint speaks so much, so much, so much, so much, so much. But all those who are others' children's, others' babies, they change their color and they become saintly, just like the saint. So this beetle is like the saint who does not have his own, but he will convert everybody else. He'll make everyone else like himself. How? Just by chanting the glories of Bhagwan. That's it. So here he says, then he gives the example of the wasp. O king, once a beetle wasp forced a weaker insect to enter his hive and kept him trapped here. In great fear, the weak insect constantly meditated upon his captor and fear, and without giving up his body, he gradually achieved the same state of existence as the wasp. Thus, one achieves a state of existence according to one's constant concentration. This same thing Bhagwan has told in Gita in chapter number 8. Whatever is your consciousness at the time of death, that same state you will achieve. So if somebody leaves the body, second sloka says, if somebody leaves the body thinking of me, he will attain me. But if somebody is leaving the body thinking of anything else, that consciousness, will lead him to another body of that type. So he says, Evam Gurubhya Etebhya Eshe esha me shikshitamatihi swatmopikshitam buddhim shunu me vadata prabho. He says, O king, thus from all these spiritual masters, I have acquired great wisdom. Now please listen as I explain what I learned from my own body. So all these were external gurus. Now my own body is my guru. I learned from my own body also. What? He says, the material body is also my spiritual master because it teaches me detachment, being subject to creation and destruction. It always comes to a painful end. Thus, although using my body to acquire knowledge, I always remember that I will ultimately be consumed by others, and remaining detached, I move around in this world. He says, this body is also teaching me detachment. This body is going to die one day, for sure. Whom do we love the most? Ourselves. We love our body the most. But he says, what? I am loving my body. I love it the most. But this body is also, she will ditch me one day and go. And this body, everybody else is going to use it for their own purpose. We give service, right? We do work for others. He says, I love this body the most. This body is also going to cheat me, ditch me one day and die. So I have learned detachment from this body. Whom should I love? Who am I? I am this soul. I'm not even in this. I'm not this body. This is the ultimate realization. So I move about this world thinking like that. And he goes on saying, a man who's attached to this body accumulates money. It's everybody's story, okay? The man who's attached to this body accumulates money with struggle to expand and protect the position of his wife, his children, his property, his animals, servants, homes, relatives, friends, and so. He does all this for his sense gratification of his own body. As a tree before dying produces the seeds of a future tree, this dying body manifests the seeds of the next material body in the form of one accumulated karma, thus assuring the continuation of material existence. The material body sinks down and dies. I explained you this process. Your consciousness is the seed for your next body. Pay attention to your consciousness. Make it God conscious, make it Krishna conscious, make it Devi conscious. If the conscious is worldly, you're going to come back again and again, again and again, again, again. All right. A man who has many wives is constantly harassed by them. You know who is a man with many wives? Us. Our 10 organs, indriya, senses, all these 10 senses are in some other direction, and the mind is the leader. He is also kind of lost only. Where? God knows. So he gives example. A man who has many wives is constantly harassed by them. He is responsible for their maintenance. And thus all the ladies constantly pull him in different directions, each struggling for her own self-interest. Similarly, the material senses harass the conditioned soul, pulling him in different directions at once. At one side, the tongue is pulling him to arrange tasty food. Then thirst drags him to a suitable drink. Simultaneously, the sex organs clamor for satisfaction, and the sense of touch demands soft, sensuous objects. The belly harasses him until he is filled. The ears demand to hear pleasing sounds. The sense of smell hankers for pleasant aromas, and the fickle eyes, they clamor for pleasing sights. Thus the senses, organs, and limbs, all desiring satisfaction, pull the living entity in many directions. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, expanding his own potency, Maya Shakti, created innumerable species of life to house the conditioned souls. Yet by creating the forms of trees, reptiles, animals, birds, snakes, and so on, the Lord was not satisfied within himself, within his heart. Then he created human life. We are created out of love. People ask, why God created us? Out of love. You're the product of love. You've forgotten him, and that's why you can't feel the love. Those who remember him, they never find this world as problematic place. This world is the most joyous place, because now the drama is clear, no? That's why. And you're filled with love. Enjoy all the time. So God created us out of love for his own satisfaction. He created human life, and he gave us the intelligence. After giving us the intelligence by which we can perceive the absolute truth, Bhagwan became satisfied. It is written here, Brahmavalokadishanam mudam api devaha. That Bhagwan became very pleased just by giving birth, just by making a human life. And after many births and deaths, one achieves this rare human life. You understand what you are. You're not animal. You're human, the highest creation on this planet Earth given by God. And you have been given the wisdom, the intelligence to realize this. You have been given the knowledge through Dattatreya Bhagwan, through other Bhagwan, through Bhagwan Krishna himself in Gita. Every yuga he has come and he has spoken. Open the scriptures, go to the saints. The saints will open up everything for you. Don't forget yourself. This birth is a rare birth. Don't get back to any other yoni, any other animal life again. Make a decision. I will die thinking of God. What is the easiest way to die thinking of God? Chant his name, listen to his glories. Chant his name, listen to his glories. Shravanam, Kirtanam, that's it. That's it. Even if one sense organ is in his service, that's it. Your work is done. Make your life like that. Everything else is unnecessary. Whatever things you think are important, this is important, that is important, unnecessary. You have to just do it. Just do it for the sake of doing it. Do your prescribed duty for the sake of fighting. Bhagwan says in the Gita. But keep your mind, your intelligence anchored into me. Gita, Bhagwan says. Same thing Dattatreya Bhagwan is saying here. After many births and deaths, human being achieves the rare human life, which although temporary, affords one the opportunity to attain the highest perfection. Do not think that this is far off. You can do it in this life. It is really not far. Forget about your past life, no matter how many sins you must have done. Forget about them all. Chant God's name sincerely. One name of God itself, chanted sincerely with full of heart, full of devotion. and asking for repentance for the past things done. One name can burn so many sinful reactions. You have no idea. Whatever life is left, chant Bhagwan's name. Chant Bhagwan's name. Surrender for God. This is the purpose of human life, not to have sex like animals and just have children and then keep crying for them and then keep crying for your house, for your property, for your wealth, for finding love, for finding, oh, my husband doesn't give me a hug. Oh, my wife does not take care of me. And then go around having affairs. No, life is not meant for this. These animals do it. You've got a rare life and you've got discrimination. Use it to be with God. What else do you want? I'm telling you, this is the highest joy is there, nowhere else. Nowhere else in this world you'll find that joy. Thus, a sober human being should quickly endeavor for the ultimate perfection of life, as long as his body, which is always subject to death, has not fallen down and died. After all, sense gratification is available even in the most abominable species of life. The pig also has sex and has babies. Do you want to live like pig? A donkey also has the same thing. Do you want to again become a donkey? You are human. Think like that. Rise above all this. Chant God's name. They can't chant God's name. They can't do satsang. But they are living as per the laws of nature, and nature will help them. For us, the choice has been given. The freedom of acting has been given. Make a choice. Make the right choice of your life. Think of God. Serve God. Serve every person. Live your life rightly, just like a yajna, pure life. That's what God is saying. After all, sense gratification is available even in the most abominable species of life, whereas Krishna consciousness is possible only for human being. Having learned from my spiritual masters, I remain situated. This is the purpose of Guru. To make you realize that the worth of your life, worth of this body, you make it worthless by giving unnecessary attention to worthless things. They will happen. You just work for the sake of working. Do your prescribed duties. Just for the sake of doing it. But under all circumstances, remember me, O Arjun. This is what the Gurus are teaching. They remind you again and again, remember God, remember God, remember God, remember God. This is what the Guru's work is, nothing else. Just like the beetle. Ram, 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 Ma, 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 Ma. Remember Ma. That's all. Having learned from my spiritual masters, I remain situated in the realization of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and fully renounced and enlightened by the realized spiritual knowledge, wander the earth without attachment or false ego. This is the way you work out on your ego. Although the absolute truth is one without a second, the sages have described him in many different ways. Therefore, one may not be able to acquire very firm or complete knowledge from one spiritual master. See, here is again he's given. He's clarified one more thing. People say, no, only one guru, one guru, one guru, because they want to run their organization. They play with the disciples' mind. I've seen that. I am the only one right one. Everybody else is wrong. Our organization is the only right one. Everybody else is wrong. And they fill the mind of the disciple with guilty consciousness, which they cannot fight. I've seen that also. So hard-coded. Every step they take, they have not learned. People have taken initiations from gurus. They don't even have access to the gurus. They can't even learn from the gurus. But the mind is so hard conditioned, so hard coded, that every time they go to another guru, they feel guilty. I've seen that also. That is why I like Dattatreya Bhagwan. Have you heard Dattatreya has opened up any organization? Narad Muni opened up any organization? Shukdev ji opened up any organization? Vyasdev opened up any Mat Mandir Ashram? No. Preachers after him started doing it. But Narad ji, do you think he's having all this anywhere? Dattatreya Bhagwan, moving like a wandering monk. He didn't sit to make any ash, and he told that in the beginning itself. A sannyasi should not get into all this. He doesn't want anybody to be tied to him also. He says, like the girl wearing the bangle, says even if there are two bangles, they're going to make noise. So rather be alone. And then in the end, he concludes. He gives the importance of human life, and in the end, he concludes, the absolute truth is explained in many ways. He has written, Nahi ekasmat guru jnanam susthiram syat supushkalam brahmaite dadvitiyam vai giyate bahuda rishibhihi. Many rishibhis, many saints will say the same absolute truth in different ways. Therefore, one may not be able to acquire a very firm or complete knowledge from one spiritual master. So become like the bumblebee who will go to different gurus, different scriptures, who will learn, who will get the true essence. And in that process, if you find one guru who in a human form can give you that thing that you wanted. And what does a guru give? Guru only instills love of God in you. If you find some guru like this, with whom you feel that love, you feel that encouragement, then that human form you must take as your guru. And I'm telling you again, gurus will never bind. Gurus never like to bind. They themselves are free. They never like to bind students. I've really met saints. Never once in their conversation did they ever try to bind me. And that is what I loved. I saw saints like this. Even big gurus, okay? Very famous gurus. They don't tie you with organizations. They don't even tie you with themselves. They only tie you with God. If you find such gurus, you must follow. If you find such saints, you must follow. So here he says, you can go, because it is not possible to find all the knowledge from one guru. So he gives his own example. I got different knowledges from my 24 gurus. Sri Bhagwan Vacha, in the end, you remember this story was being told by Sri Krishna to Uddhava. Now Krishna gives his conclusion. He says, Sri Bhagwan Vacha iti yuktva sayadum viprastaman tam atmantre gabhiradi vandita swarchito ragna yayo prito yathagatam. Bhagwan said, having thus spoken to King Yadu, the wise Brahmana offered obeisances and worship from the king, accepted obeisances and worship from the king, and felt pleased within himself. Then, bidding farewell, he left exactly as he had come. He was an Avadhut. This is Avadhut. Avadhuta vacha shrutva purvesham nasa purvaja sarvasanga vinirmuktah samachito babhuvaha. O Uddhav, hearing the words of the Avadhut, the saintly King Yadu, who is the forefather of our own ancestors, became free from material attachment, and thus his mind was evenly fixed on spiritual platform. This is our Guru, Bhagwan Dattatrey. All the teaching is for what? Explaining you again. Sarva Sangha Vinirmuktaha, to make you free from material attachment. Samachitto Babhuvaha, to make you samachitta, to bring you to rise, to make you fixed on the spiritual platform. We learned in chapter 2, those who are attending the Gita, Bhagwan says, Samatvam hi yoga uchyate. Samata hi yoga hai. To be fixed on the spiritual platform, to become sthiramati, sthirapragya, to rise above your material sense gratification. The whole purpose is that. Who is teaching? Bhagwan Dattatrey. Why is this important? Because we have to develop this mind, what Bhagwan is teaching. Because many people, they'll say, oh, Gita, we are not interested in Gita because whatever reason, and we are interested in Lalita because she gives bhog and moksha. Every time argument with bhog. And then I'm like, I understand your need for bhog. I'm not denying that. I understand. I accept you have a need for it. Ask. I have no problem. But develop Moksha does not come by itself. It's not given to you in a plate. Develop that attitude of detachment. How will you develop it? When you sit at the Guru's feet. I'm taking you to Lord Dattatreya's feet. Where else do I take you? The highest one who has given you Tripura Rahasya. You want bhog for what? Question that. For what am I asking the bhoga? Question that. Bhagwan Dattatrey takes you to the point that this bhoga for this, for your family, for anything. And what does that family come from? For whatever, whatever you're asking the bhog. It comes from this body. And he says, this body is also not yours. You're trying to work so hard to satisfy this sense gratification. I understand at this moment you're not able to see both the picture clearly. I understand your problem. But here, by hearing one day, you will rise beyond this. Because bhoga, sense gratification is such a thing, it will pull you more and more. And the result will be only ego, anger, frustration, anxiety, stress. But if you are enjoying the bhog with the knowledge, of detachment, then that bhog will not pull you inside. Earn money. I don't say don't earn money. I'm not asking you. Let the money come. But as Bhagwan taught in Bhagavad Gita, we are reading chapter 3. He taught, live your life like a yajna. When money comes, earn it. No problem. But give to others. And he said, those who are not sharing their things with others, they are only doing it for their own body. They are incurring sins. This is what we learned in chapter 3, sloka number 13. Those who do not share. So if you have wealth, let it come in abundance. Become like Raja Ambrish, become like Raja Bali, become a king, no problem. Become like Raja Parikshit, become like Raja Yudhishthir, become like a Raja. But take that wealth not only for me, my family, that's it. No. Share that wealth with everybody else. Do good things. You eat food. That is what is being taught. You eat food. Don't just eat for my body, my family's body. No. Offer that food to God. Then take some part of that food. Offer it to animals outside. Offer it to other beings outside. Take something. Offer some food to somebody. Offer water to somebody. And then you take. God has given everything. God has given us in abundance. I'm telling you, God has given in this abundance. But when we start living selfishly, we miss out that abundance. And when we live selfishly, that abundance, if somebody is rich also, is useless. Because if you're living with stress, anxiety, sorrow, frustration, and always doubting my family member will cheat me or they'll take my wealth away, what's the point? Wealth was given to you to give it to others. Share. Be like a king. Share whatever you can. So that is why in Yajna, we learned the chapter 3 Yajna. Bhagwan says, do your Deva Yajna. Give thank you to Devatas. Offer it to them also. Offer it to them means doing charity in temples. All those things do. Offer it to your ancestors. Do. To your family people. Do. Share. Share with animals. Share. Share with your family members, your extended family members. Share with strangers. Share with beggars on the street. If beggars come to you, you can give. Expand your thought. Expand your thought. You have so much to give. Give. Learn to give. And if you live like that, thinking, people say, no, na jaane kis vesh mein Narayan mil jaye. And when it comes to giving, they start counting. Narayan will be like, okay, I came with you. I would have given you many Lakshmi, but you are counting, no problem. So live like that. Give without thinking. I'll tell you one story of Dattatreya. Oh, class is almost done, huh? But this story of Dattatreya, I must say, it is just coming. So in Girnar, there is a Dattatreya temple. So one Seth, one merchant, one businessman, he wanted to donate money, and it is donate food actually. So it is a belief that when somebody is giving food in that area, Bhagwan Dattatrey is still living. He comes sometimes and he will take the food and go. So this person is distributing food, and in that line he sees his own secretary come there in the line, and he thinks this food was for poor. Why has my secretary come? And when the secretary comes, he shouts, "Why did you come and stand in this line? Am I giving you less money or what? Am I paying you less? You get enough money, right? Why did you come and stand in the line for the food? Just go. You're spoiling my name. Just go. I won't give you anything." And the secretary goes away. And then that night, this man sleeps. And the Dattatreya comes in. No, sorry, not sleeps. He goes to his Guru in Girnar only. And then he spoke to the Guru. And the Guru knows everything. Guru says, "Oh, why didn't you give it to the secretary?" So this businessman says, "Why? What happened? I give him every day." He says, "Didn't I tell you that Dattatreya Bhagwan can come in any form? And you said no to your secretary?" He had come in that form. The businessman feels so bad. He goes up, says sorry, and then again, he gave the bandara, the food again. So this thing, what I'm telling you is a true story. I heard it from my Guruji's mouth. So that is why I shared it, because it just occurred to me right now. So I shared it because it was related to Dattatreya. So sharing and caring, whatever you have, give it to others, live life with a detached attitude, enjoy your bhoga. And if you live with detached attitude, you will get your moksha immediately. So this is what is the meaning of bhog and moksha together when you pray to Lalita. Got it? All right. So we will end up, those who want to sleep can sleep. One more question. Devi and Shiva are also same. This I answered, right? Krishna are also same, but as brother, sister, please explain something about this. When it is said the same Devi takes form of Radha, Lakshmi, Sita, Rukmani, then people misunderstand it as sister is taking form of consort. So what's the concept behind? People. Okay. I have given this example, because we are humans, we are only used to these human relationships, okay? Mother, father, sister, brother, The original example, always quoted, Shiva and Shakti together in principle of creation, is take a chana. Chana means garbanzo bean. Remember the shape of chana? The garbanzo bean? है ना? Horse gram bolte hain shayad. We call it horse gram also. So chana, Kabuli chana le lo. You take Kabuli chana and half of half, right? So half is Shiva, half is Shakti. Or half is Parabrahma, Parashakti. Half. This chana, this garbanzo bean, you sow it in the soil and then you see a sprout coming out, right? So it's sprouted. Can anything sprout if there is no male and no female? From that one chana, garbanzo bean, some sprout came out. Is it not? Which is the male, which is the female, you don't know. But it came out. And from that sprout, more chanas will come out. Is it not? More chana, garbanzos will come out. Now tell me, which one is husband, wife? Which one is sister, brother? Because from those chanas, more will come out. Can you guess? So you will say that chana is origin of this chana, then that chana is origin of that chana. Can you do? You cannot find in nature husband, wife, sister, brother. Can you? In real nature. It is only humans we have made all this complexities in our life, and we want to put God in our own framework. Husband, wife, da. It is good when we want to meditate on form. It is good because we understand that forms and we understand those relations. So it was only given to understand those relations and enjoy with Bhagwan in those relations. But if you're asking me the real, focus on the example of chana. Where is the male? Where is the female? The whole Shrishti came like this. That is how they multiplied. And they multiplied in different forms. That's it. And in different kalpas, different stories happened. It is given to us. He did all these leelas for us to understand him more closely. That's the whole goal. Okay? All right. So, concept, I think you understood. We'll end up the class now. Jai Shri Krishna, Jai Ma Lalita Ambika, and we'll see you tomorrow. Hari Bol.